Hello and welcome to another episode of the Mahmoud podcast.
Plotters.
With two of famous guests.
This feels more and more like a throuple.
Yes. You've been on the podcast quite a few times now. So
I think so.
You're regular.
Are we getting good ratings when I'm there, or just people ignore the episode?
Oh no! Usually it just tanks as soon as they see Mahmoud in the title.
Yeah.
I know.
Nosedive.
Absolute horrific.
I think it has to do with that, Martin. You always give me as a bad example. Like for example, who cares about AP? Only Mahmoud cares about AP.
Correct.
Yes.
Which is not
the funny
true.
thing is, no, it's not that.
True.
I know, Mahmoud. You care about AP.
I do too.
You love it.
I care about many watch brands.
Yes. We love watches. I mean, Martin.
Maybe I'm just more down to earth.
No, Martin only likes things that he can afford, and he can.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
But
this is why I don't run around.
No,
I actually don't like AP. I actually, to the core of the brand, despise
You bought one.
everything. Yeah, back when I was young and stupid.
Yeah. So you had a Royal Oak, and I think Mahmoud, just between us, I think he's still a bit sour that he sold it for such little money where he could have gotten so much more.
I paid even less.
I think the issue is that AP is not a watch that he can buy over and over again and sell it and buy it and sell it and buy it. That's the only reason.
No, even that. No, I told you. All right, here's what happened.
Yeah.
The story goes. I bought the AP at a one of these kind of jewelry shops in Elaine. It was not an AD. It was a, one of these resellers, kind of like Timepiece 360 kind of style, but more jewelry, a few watches. I had it kind of, I looked at it, I inspected it. Everything was legit, fully stickered, still brand new. So I said, okay, screw it. I negotiated for like 2 days on it too. The guy wanted and this was back in the day, 2017 probably. The guy wanted 55K or something, and then we agreed at the end 48K. So I took it for 48, which at the time, by the way, was the after discount retail price at the AD as well, if you could get one at the AD, because they were still giving discounts.
Okay.
And I think, I believe that is the price that the watch should be.
Yes.
But even then, at that price, I still felt the movement was crap. It didn't have, if I'm not mistaken, didn't have a quick set date or hacking seconds. It had the world's tiniest movement in it. It was like a 22 millimeter movement in a 40 millimeter watch.
So which version did you have exactly?
The 41, 15400.
I think.
Was it?
But
No. It was. I took it to.
I'm not there anymore.
You know how I know it wasn't a knockoff? Because Khaled at Timepieces 360 bought it.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure he knows his shit.
What is the number? What is the number of it? It's a Royal Oak
15400 ST.
15400 ST. Okay. Let me see. I just wanted
to
see.
No, I honestly believe it was thick. It was the only thing I liked about it was the bracelet. I thought the bracelet was fantastic. That was really the only takeaway. Is I'm like, okay, it's a cool bracelet. And that was it. But it's not a jumbo, right? I've tried a jumbo on, and I think the jumbo is a little bit more balanced. It's kind of like the original intent of that watch, and I think that AP has kind of gone too far. Not to mention, we're just talking Royal Oak. But there is one Royal Oak that I do like. Once again, I'm no date, right? So I don't like dates. There's only one AP Royal Oak without a date. Do you know which one it is?
Double balance wheel.
No, which one's that?
That's the open work Royal Oak with.
No, not open work. I don't like open work stuff. It's not open work.
Tourbillon chronographs.
Tourbillon.
Yeah.
Tourbillon.
Exactly.
So the Tourbillon does not have a date window. So if anybody wants to lend me $100,000 US, I'm happy to buy an AP.
AP has $100,000 tourbillon.
I can lend it to you, but that doesn't help, right? I think you want to have it gifted, right? The 100,000.
I think it's 2017 prices again.
No, it might be 2007. In 2017, when I was in this realm, it was $100,000. I don't know.
Back
Maybe
in
it's
the
more
day.
now. Is it more now? I don't know how much things are.
It's probably like 800,000 now. Dirhams.
Yeah.
Dirhams, this was 100,000 US. So that's $400,000 now.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Double in price. Anywho.
Anyway,
yeah.
What are you wearing, Martin? Anywho.
Oh, what? No, you guys go first because I strategically picked something for you guys.
Oh, wow.
Just to piss you guys off.
Doxa.
No, Mahmoud, you go first. Mahmoud goes first because he's the guest.
So a week ago.
Which AP?
No, I'm not wearing an AP today. A week ago, I picked up Patek Philippe 5212A, the weekly calendar. Let me show you. I'm just adjust the camera. There.
Put your pants back on.
No, people will be disappointed. So funny story, but I've been wanting this watch for about 5 years when it was first released, 2019. Back in the day, I said this was the most beautiful watch I've ever seen. And, I didn't have lots of watch knowledge back then. I still think it's a very beautiful watch, and it's a rare one as well because it's in steel. But definitely there are more beautiful watches out there. But I'm thankful that 5 years later, I was able to afford it.
This is one of the Pateks that I really, really like. I think it's a little bit too big for me. I think it's 40 right?
Yeah, I'll just quickly share this here on the screen for everybody to see on YouTube.
For the listeners.
Right? They can see this beautiful.
It's a stunning watch. I think it would benefit from a tiny bit of downsizing. Like if they made this a 38 it would be a killer watch.
The dial is too busy to make it a bit smaller.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Maybe this is true. So that could be. What's the lug width on this?
See, the thing is, I never really track lug width because I rarely change straps, which, by the way, this watch is like a strap monster. So I know that many things.
That's why I'm
We
asking.
can't share anymore, Mahmoud. I think only serial strap changes can be on the podcast. I think the connection breaks down just now.
Can you guys help me out then?
I'm sorry.
I'm searching it for 20 Okay, it is. It's perfectly 20
Look,
which is perfect.
I have a nice 20 Hermes watch strap that would fit perfectly well on this.
Okay, thank you for the gift.
So, and this is one of the few watches that gets a pass for having a date window because it is a calendar complication. So it doesn't necessarily. My rule is, once again, it has to be a GMT or more, and they get a pass.
Excuses. They get a pass from the glorious Martin. So,
yes.
My one question: can you change the weekly calendar to the? I think there's two different calendar weekly week counts in a year. One is the more American version, and one is the rest of the world version. I think.
No, there is 53 weeks in there because every 4 years you get an extra day. Sometimes you'd have 53 Saturdays or something like that because of the leap year.
Yeah.
But it works.
I mean, week starts on Sundays or Mondays. Where does yours start?
This one starts on Sunday, clearly.
So how you count it is that because how you set it up, you look at the calendar and then you count, for example, how many Sundays are in the calendar that you're trying to set up to. So, for example, let's say today is Friday. You count how many Fridays have elapsed. And if today is, for example, let me look at my watch since I have that set up. Today is the 9th Friday in the year.
Yes.
So this is how you just move the indicator to 9.
So it doesn't.
What indicator?
The week.
Sorry?
The week indicator.
Stop this stupid animation and just give me a goddamn picture.
Okay.
I'm trying to read what it says, and then
this is the website. What can I do? It's the website. Here's
all right, there. Okay, so now you're telling me that 53. So, but you're telling me it's the 9th Friday in the year, right?
Yeah.
So you have to start all the way from the beginning of the year. So if this is in November and you're trying to get this watch in November and set it up, you got to go all the way back and count every single week.
Well, you can count it the other way around from the end.
I guess.
So see, listen.
This is too much for me. I'm out. I'm out.
Pretty simple. So the first one is here, right? January. So you're starting here somewhat, right?
Yes.
With this indicator. And I think it actually does the proper counting, right? So I think it starts the week on a Monday as it does here, right? It's like if you have, the first is usually let's take annual calendars like the Sky Dweller, for example. The first, January is on the first, on the number 1, right? And of course, number 12 is on the top. So first one is here. So first one is Monday, Tuesday, and then you enter the last day on the top. So for the week or for the day of week, your top is the last. So also top is the last week. So the first week is one step ahead. So the question is, of course, which weekday does it go? Maybe you can actually change this independently, the weekday from the week. I don't know. Maybe you can.
How many pushers?
3. No, wait, 2. Let me count. 2, I think.
So what are you pushing?
You're pushing the week and the day.
Okay. So the date and the hour is by the crown.
Yeah, the date is from the crown, and the hours as well. Yeah.
See, this is what I'm saying is I like this watch. I'm not going to buy it. It's out of my price range, but I like it. So your argument that I don't like AP because I can't afford it is debunked immediately right now.
Oh.
I just don't like AP because I don't like AP.
Okay. But you like Patek.
But I like Patek, yes. I do like Patek, except for the Cubitus.
Okay. So, how many Cubitus did you have on your wrist so far?
Cubitae. None.
Cubituses.
0.
Cubituses.
Yes.
That's German.
Yes, none. But nonetheless, what I'm saying here is I like more Pateks than I dislike. I hate more APs than I like. So it's an inverse.
Hate is such a strong word, Martin.
Oh, no, I despise them with a fiery passion of 1,000 suns.
Wow.
I
burn them with fire.
May they burn. If Lebrassus, whatever, Lebrassus were to, magically combust, I would be okay with it. There's no other watchmaker that I would miss in that area.
No.
Yeah. And what's his face can go with it.
Isn't JLC there as well?
Francois is not anymore with AP. He can.
I know. I'm just saying. I would be hoping that he would be visiting the factory at the time. That's how much I hate AP. And JLC is in what's it called? No, it's in the Valley de Joux.
Why the hate? I mean, what did they do to you? I mean, how did they hurt you?
I just don't like them. They keep coming up with the stupidest things. 1159 is a terrible watch, except for the circle thingy one.
Star wheel.
Star wheel. And also I give it the perpetual calendar with the starry dial. What is it called? The aventurine dial. So that is okay. Mm-hmm. I hate the stupid, what do you call them? The Spider-Man, all these.
No, Martin, I think that this is actually a good segue because, AP is celebrating the 150th anniversary and we want to talk about anniversary watches.
May it stay there and not go any further.
Before we go there, I want to know what you guys are wearing.
Yeah.
Before we go there, Lebrassus, or however you say it, is 3.5 kilometers from Valley de Joux. So
it's an incomprehensible far away.
Yeah. Apparently, it's a 6-minute walk.
You're a fast walker.
Factories. Yeah. Anyway, okay. What are you wearing, Ralph? Go ahead.
Daytona.
As I expected.
One word, very quick. No explanation.
Okay. I'm going to explain mine because I knew Mahmoud would be wearing something.
Chronology escapement in this watch, which is, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
I have new ball bearings. And I have, compared to the older Daytona, and I have also, what else has changed? I think they have changed.
My what's it called has new ball bearings. The Explorer has new ball bearings. It's not a big deal.
No, your Explorer, which year is that?
2023.
Okay, then it might have the new ceramic ball bearings as well.
It doesn't. It absolutely does. And on top of that, my Sub and my date just had the old ball bearings, which were silent, by the way.
I know.
And the new one makes noise. So it also pisses me off.
You hear anything?
And then when I took it to the service center,
because there is no sound. My rotor is dead silent.
Mine is loud. And I took it to the service center and they said, oh, yeah, that's just how the new ball bearings are.
I really don't hear anything. I can do whatever I want.
Better. You're also wearing headphones.
No, but
nonetheless.
open headphones, so I would hear anything. But there is nothing.
Sure.
It's really dead,
I believe you.
Silent.
Nonetheless, I knew Mahmoud was wearing something ridiculous. So I knew Ralph would try to compensate by wearing something equally ridiculous.
But then I would wear my Vacheron Constantin. Or my Blanc annual calendar.
This is
See,
still...
It doesn't work. Your argument doesn't work.
It does. It does. And
I was wearing a
Ralph always wants to show off. If somebody else is wearing something like super high level, then Ralph wants to kind of like.
And that's why I wore the last time my Seiko, because nobody can have that. Huh?
Which last time? With who? That was with Julian.
Yeah, and.
Julian appreciates cheap watches. He's in this category.
So yeah,
Mahmoud does not have a single watch under like 50K.
I'm a terrible show off.
I totally do. I've got the engineer.
Huh? Oh, sorry, 40K.
And the Piaget Polo S.
How much is retail on a Piaget Polo S?
40. When I bought it, it was 43.
Okay, so under 50K, 43. So Mahmoud has nothing under 4. Sub retail is like 40 now. It's almost
44.
40? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Not worth it at all. Nonetheless, I'm sitting here wearing something I picked up for 3,000 dirhams. It is my Seiko. There it is. It's awesome. It's a GMT. It's on a Bond NATO strap. And it is cheap because I don't want to alienate our listeners. I don't want to be the kind of guy that says, oh, guys, you have to have these fancy watches. No, go get something cheap and enjoy that. So you could buy, Mahmoud, the Patek is, what, 55K? Am I right? Somewhere around there?
55K, what, dollars?
No, dirhams. How much is it?
The Patek
I thought it was, yeah, when this came out, wasn't it 55K dirhams?
Okay, should we restart this whole recording here and get somebody with his in his right mind?
Let's assume. Okay,
obviously
let's say
Martin is today a bit besides himself.
No,
so.
I'm just saying you could buy 20 of my Seikos for the price of one Patek.
No. You can buy a lot more of your Seikos. A lot more.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm just, who knows?
Ralph, can you stop sharing your screen so we can also have a look at Barton's watch?
Yes, put mine up there. That's a good one to look at. And in case anybody doesn't know what a Daytona looks like, you could also put that up as well.
Mm-hmm.
In case somebody wants to see.
Show your Seiko then.
Me? Oh, no, I thought you were saying you're going to put a picture of my Seiko.
No, I don't even know which model that is. I can do it.
SPB411.
Okay, let me search then. A Seiko SPB411 and put a picture on it.
This is the reissue for the old Navigator timer. That was a favorite for the American fighter pilots in Vietnam, actually.
So, if the Seiko page loads...
It's beautiful.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah, it's a very nice watch. I like it.
It is lovely. 37 millimeters, original size. And this is a 1-to-1 reissue of the original watch from 1968. And it's so 1-to-1 that the bracelet fits on the vintage ones.
Nice.
So if you happen to have a vintage one, you could put the kind of like Speedmaster style, where you could also do the same thing, right? If you have a Speedmaster, which Mahmoud sold yours, right?
I did sell mine 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. For this, I understand. The weekly calendar is special.
I cannot have everything, plus, by the way, that's also a follow-up from our previous conversation. So I did buy another watch box.
See,
you went bigger.
See,
so I can expand. Now I have 2 watch boxes,
we
so
knew
I
that
can
would
expand
happen eventually. So
exactly. So yeah, I mean, I think we can talk about anniversary watches since there is so much hate towards AP. But this year there are many great brands that are celebrating their anniversary. Vacheron 270 years, AP 150, and me 40 years. So
40 years. You look older than us.
Whoa, pause. You're the same age?
Sorry?
When did you turn 40?
I'm going to turn 40 this October.
I turned 40 this November.
It's a Libra.
We're 1 month apart.
You're not a Libra, right?
Yeah.
There's one before, or what is this?
So there you go. We're 1 month, October, November. Yeah, 1 month apart, if my weekly calendar is correct.
Yeah, and one person sits in a Porsche, and the other person...
And the other one sits in a house.
Rented.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
By the way, I want to point out the fact that Seiko misspelled mechanical on their own website.
Okay.
Did they? Yeah.
If you zoom in, mechanical.
Yeah. I've recently seen this as well on an own website. I don't know where it was, on a watch website, and I thought, oh man, copywriting is really, or proofreading is not anymore the thing, right?
But you got to give them some credit. Like, I mean, it's a Japanese company. I mean, they have a whole different character alphabet than we do. So
yeah, but this is SeikoWatches.com, so that's the international website. So
yeah, I know, and this error goes forward to all of the other regional websites as well. So it's kind of funny that no one caught this.
Yeah.
So Seiko, if you're listening, fix your website. Anyway, so happy birthday, future birthday.
No, that's not good.
Still 8 months away.
In Germany, we don't do this.
Yeah.
This is not good luck.
Oh, es ist nicht gut. Nicht gut.
You never wish in ahead.
In advance.
That's not good.
Happy birthday, AP.
You can wish in belated last birthday.
When is AP founded? Is AP
150 years from today?
Yeah. From today, this very day that we're recording this?
Yeah. Well, not today, but
exactly.
175.
Because if it hasn't come yet, I can wish so.
There you go.
So AP founded date October 2nd.
See?
So happy birthday, AP.
And Mahmoud, because I'm also in October. So
yeah, but I'm saying this in advance in hopes that something bad happens to them.
So that something bad happens to them. Okay, fine.
Yes, because that's what you told me. If you say it, then something bad will happen.
Yeah.
So, Martin, I'm going to ask you a question that I don't know the answer to, but what did you think of the new releases of AP, which were released a few days back?
He doesn't even check.
Which ones?
Yeah, he doesn't even look at them. This is the ignorance here. I have to deal with it.
I even... did they make a square one as well? Call it the Royal Cubitus.
Well, you know that they did have a square Royal Oak before.
Did they? I don't know.
Didn't you see the one that one of our friends recently got in the watch group, Mate? He got a new AP square. It looks really cool. It's a vintage one from 1990. I don't know if it's new vintage.
Show us on the screen.
Yeah, I can't show it on the screen because it was on WhatsApp. Let me
No, I'm saying just Google it. Just Google show us a similar one.
I just show it here. Just a second. Wait a second. I don't want to do all of this Google and buddly because I don't know the number of it. So
Royal Oak Square. I put in Royal Oak Square and it's already here.
Royal Oak Square.
It's a rect. It is. That's what I put in, and it comes up. This is kind of cool. I like it.
Then share your screen.
How do I do that? Where does one share their screen?
Okay. So
it is. Got it. Share screen.
It is an Edward PG 25. Okay, now I can just do that here.
No, I'm sharing my screen now.
PG.
You told me to.
What is it?
Window.
25.
Here. Check it out, guys.
682. Okay.
And look, no date.
Yes.
Yeah, that is not the watch she has. That's what I'm saying. It's not.
But this is so cool. Look at this.
He got this one here. And I show this to you on a Chrono 24 page if it opens. Let me strictly share my screen. There you go. Chuck. Share. So here you see it's an Audemars Piguet Edouard Piguet.
Okay, it's not the Royal Oak.
No.
So beautiful.
And of course it has a date because it is a perpetual calendar.
Perpetual calendar. Yeah.
Sorry, is it annual calendar or perpetual calendar?
No, it said perpetual on it.
Yeah, but there's no fourth. How do you know?
Yeah.
So that must be an annual calendar then.
But it says perpetual in the listing there.
Yeah, listings,
Yeah, it could be. 76K, and it's a solid gold.
Yeah.
See, this is the kind of stuff I like. Okay, maybe this is why I hate AP so much, is because I know that they used to make such cool stuff, and I think they've entirely lost their way.
Okay.
And Patek continues the things that they used to do, right? They haven't forgotten all of their, vintage, their complications, I should say complications in a classical dress watch style. But AP is just like, Royal Oak.
So
Spider-Man.
AP was always known for high complications. So if you look at what they've released a few days back, they came up with this. In the beginning, I wasn't too impressed. Honestly, I had to Google it up, but they have now a perpetual calendar that you can set everything from the crown.
Amazing. That's something like that IWC didn't do 20 years ago.
No, I know. Kurt Klaus must be rolling around in his grave.
Actually, they haven't, and there is a difference. So the one that Kurt Klaus had prepared before, obviously, is much thicker, but also it's all synchronized. So if you make a mistake, you have to wait a few days up until the watch synchronizes again itself, or you have to send it back to a watchmaker.
Correct, yeah.
And it could stay there for a couple of months in order to set the date correctly if you move by a lot of days or a month or so.
So
but the
if you have a kid, if you have children, do not let them play with your watch. It's like, look, Daddy, exactly. I put your watch 5 years in the future. Like, oh, thank you so much.
Exactly. But no, you can adjust everything individually. And if you look at the video as well on their website, it has 4 positions, the crown, which is so weird. So it has a first, second, third, and then it goes back to another position, which is not the same as the second position. It's so strange. And you have to look at the video of it. It's honestly stunning.
Yes. 4 positions. Crown is nearly as good as having 5 pushers in the in the case.
There is always something wrong with
no.
innovation.
Listen, I think what really was supposed to be the 150th anniversary watch was the one that then Francois actually released just before he left, and just to steal the thunder from the new CEO. I think it was a bit nasty.
Which one? Which one is this?
This is the most complicated one, the R4. The most complicated AP ever made.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm gonna put up on my screen here the AP website. So let's take a look at this is driving home my point with Patek versus
RD4. Sorry, not Royal Oak. It's the 1159.
The what's it called? The concept, right? Yeah. So we have 1159.
Was it RD4?
Royal Oak Offshore, Royal Oak Concept, and a remaster. These are all of AP's model lines.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look at Patek.
Yeah, they have the Calatrava. So which lines do they have? Calatrava.
So line-wise, they have Grand Complication, Calatrava, Golden Ellipse, Nautilus. I took men's only, so 24 and Gondolo is out. Cubitus, Aquanaut, and they still have pocket watches.
So they have pocket watches that leave them out because that's not the thing. So they have Grand complications. Okay. Do they differ from a case?
They're called a collection.
Yeah, almost no difference. I would say that they categorize them to complications, grand complications, course watches.
Okay, so you have Ellipse, the Nautilus, the Aquanaut, the Cubitus, and the Calatrava.
So here we have Calatrava. Yeah. Calatrava alone has. Where's yours?
Which one?
Where's the weekly calendar?
It's complication.
Okay. But it's a Calatrava.
So if I go Calatrava, it just gives So if I go Calatrava, it just gives me the plain ones. Okay. If I go Golden Ellipse, we have the ellipses.
But they don't receive any ellipses anymore. It's only on the website, but they actually don't receive it.
Really? But they just re-released it. It's relatively new.
Pocket watches, and here's the
ellipsis. Wait a second, Mahmoud. The Ellipse with the Wellendorf bracelet, the new one, is just released like last year, or is it a year ago? 2 years ago? I mean, it's relatively new.
I know, but from my conversations with the ADs, and I do travel a lot and see lots of ADs as well, all of them, they say they almost don't receive any ellipses at all.
That's surprising, because that is actually, I think this ellipse with the, let me share my screen quickly to show you. I think I don't like the ellipse. I thought the old ellipse was horrible, right? Because it was so tiny and small. But looking at this, I must say it is amazing, especially that bracelet. And it's done by a jewelry company in Wellendorf in Germany, right? And this is now, you don't have to cut it anymore. Every single link is individually removable. So you can actually size it properly without having to cut it, which we had to do.
Before you had to cut it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you went to the store, the boutique, and they just measured your wrist, and then that's it. You got it. There's no micro adjust, and then you had to.
There's no micro.
It was basically cut, and then not really just cut. It was a bit different, but yeah.
But you know what's interesting with Patek Philippe, because obviously the waiting lists are always, especially in Dubai, they tell you it's 2 to 3 years for any watch. You know, you have to wait with us. I was in Prague last year during Christmas, and obviously, you know, I was telling them about the situation in Dubai. I don't have any purchase history whatsoever with the Prague boutique. And I told them, okay, so what is available? I can put my name on. I was asking for the weekly calendar before picking up mine. Told me, you know, there's actually 10 people waiting for it, which is very transparent. And they say, you know, we go through the list, and you know, if you don't want it, so we skip you, we go for the next one, and even we can retain your name for the following year.
Yes.
But what you can put your name on is this salmon dial chronograph. And I was like, really? Because usually in Dubai, this is impossible to get, especially salmon dial watches. And said, no, because people in Europe, they don't like salmon dials because of the skin tones, and they prefer the blue dial. And then after I texted, you know, after I got the weekly calendar, so I texted the Prague boutique. I said, oh, by the way, I picked up the weekly calendar, so even if you call me for this, I will not be able to pick it up. They told me, oh, congratulations. By the way, we've got the watch for you if you want to pick it up. I was like, come on, guys.
When it rains, it pours.
Exactly. I just said, keep my name for it, but you know, it's a very expensive watch as well. I was surprised that they called me without purchase history. Salmon dial, which is very difficult here. Complications 2 months after I put my
Show
name.
us the watch, Ralph. Pull up this watch. Salmon dial chronograph. I have no idea which one. Is it a Calatrava?
I will do that if you say
go
please.
to complications.
Yeah, but it's a Calatrava case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Calatrava or complications.
Collections, complications.
Salmon dial.
This one?
Ooh.
Yeah.
White gold?
What? It's just. It's not bad at all. I like Patek.
It's a manual wind.
Lamania movement from the Speedmaster.
Yeah, it's a Seiko NH35 movement with a Chinese chronograph module on top, but it is very nicely finished.
Yeah. And it's only about 300,000 dirhams.
Oh,
only? It's a bargain.
It is.
I'll take 3.
Yeah. So 100 Seikos.
That should be a new unit of measure for Americans. You know, it's like Seikos.
I have to say that my Seiko was not actually 3K. It was 6K, but
then it's only 50.
I sold it to a friend. But I sold it to a friend for 3K, and then I bought it back to him for 3K. And in my app, obviously, it's the most recent purchase price that counts, right? Not that I spent 6K on it before.
Yeah, good.
So that's just 3K.
Good. So me as the only person who's showing off apparently in this podcast, I wanted to share one thing with you. You know the what is it called, the Cactus Jack and all of these different watches that AP got so much flack for, right?
Yeah.
So now wait.
Why?
I want to tell you one thing. Look at the writing here.
I know, I love it.
See, that looks like it's handwritten. Maybe it is. And
look at the 7. Look at the 7. I love the 7.
Yeah, this is like the German way of writing a 7, right? With a. So somebody, is this actually handwritten? Do you know that? Mahmoud? Is this
actually what?
Is this hand painted?
Because there is a story behind it. They say that the watch designer came to Stern and told him, look at this dial, but it was supposed to be there just as a placeholder for later to put in the proper Patek typography. But apparently he liked the dial so much and he wanted to keep it as it is. But again, this is how the story goes.
But once again, it's printed copies. So all the watches are the exact same.
Yes.
Okay.
They're not handwriting.
Then they took the stamp from the sketch, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I like about this one, I mean, it's always this question if you do radial numbers or here radial reversed. You see, this is here, the upside, the upper part of the number is on the outside, and then it flips at 6 and 3, right? 9 and 3.
Yeah.
Same with the date, the weekday and stuff like that. So, yeah. Patek does it in different ways. Sometimes they don't do it. They make it radial, so it's always inwards facing the bottom of the numbers. And sometimes they do it outside. Yeah, it's nice. But this is, I think, a predecessor of the Cactus Jack AP, because the Cactus Jack AP also has this sort of handwritten typography in it, right?
It does. And I want to say as well that lots of the watches which I don't like the Spider-Man or the Black Panther, these are very limited edition. It's not available for the public, and they do it in a different collection where they do fun stuff, I would say. But honestly, I always like the code. I have one myself, and I think the stainless steel ones are much better than the old gold versions. And now since Patek released the Cubitus, I would say AP actually did a pretty good damn job, bringing in the code.
Yes, I think the code developed into a lovely watch. I recently have, I think I don't know if you've shared this. I saw this with this watch, that watch.
Before we forget, guys, we're putting on. I'm saying we're putting this on YouTube because we keep pointing at stuff.
Yeah, we are explaining.
And not every time we've done YouTube yet, we haven't said.
No, that's why I'm explaining everything, right? Radial. Outside, inside.
Yes.
So here we see.
But for those of you listening, we're on YouTube.
We are also looking at the Cactus Jack now, and you see here that you have also the week, right? Weekly calendar, and it's also handwritten, as well as everything else. So they copied
Patek. Nice.
To a certain extent.
Cool.
But from this artist, of course, Mr. Cactus Jack. So now what I meant with the Code 1159, I wanted to say, the younger people buying luxury watches nowadays actually are tending more and more to dress watches. And that comes from, apparently, I'm not so sure if it's the end-all explanation, but it comes from people having smartwatches first, right? Because no smartwatch comes on a metal bracelet. Very rarely they do, right? All of the Garmin's and the Apple Watches and all of the stuff, standard, do not come on a metal bracelet. So people actually grow up with not having a metal bracelet and then naturally going to a watch that doesn't have a metal bracelet. So the Code 1159 with the textile bracelets and all of this stuff is actually more in line with the younger people's idea of wearing a watch, which is quite interesting. Only the old farts like us, 40 plus, actually like the steel watches. See, there you go.
I've swapped out. I mean, once again, I shouldn't say never. I rarely wear a smartwatch, except for at night when I'm sleeping.
Rarely, but probably longer than you wear another watch during the day.
Yeah,
but that's
exactly.
Okay.
And this bugs me. This bugs me a lot, in mentally, because I'm looking at it like, which watch did I wear the most? It was
technically
all night, 8 hours a day. I wear the freaking Apple Watch. Nonetheless, I still have removed most of my bracelets from my watches, right? So I put them on NATOs because I think NATOs, you can get them wet, you can get them dirty, you just throw them in the dishwasher. And by the way, for those wondering how to wash, a NATO strap dishwasher, not washing machine, dishwasher is the way to go.
Are you sure?
Because because you're going to end up with oil, most likely, oil splatter stains, grease stains on the NATOs, and the dishwasher will get all that off.
It will get it off, but also it heats it up, right? The dishwasher also heats your stuff, and are you sure that's a good thing? Because it could be quite hot in there.
It depends. It depends if it's stitched or glued.
I don't know if that's good for your textiles that you use, depending on what your material your thing is.
I've done it before.
I know, but maybe not with...
And it comes out sparkly clean.
Yes, you have Rinse-Aid on it. So, obviously.
But only some food splatter, no problem, No, but seriously, the washing machine, unless you have two choices. But dish soap is generally the way to go. Don't mess with, detergents and stuff. Dish soap is what you need.
But I can tell you from a chemical perspective that normal washing powder or washing gel that you put into your washing machine also is very, very good at removing grease and dirt. So if it comes to, if you ever worked in a factory with lots of oil and other stuff, the one thing that you would wash your hand with afterwards is like washing powder. Not dish.
Really?
Yeah, because that gets it off. That cleans
really, I haven't tried this. We used to have, when I used to work in this kind of environment, we had this thing called, it was like this orange crap. I don't know what it was. What was it? They had a name for it. It was a brand name, and it was this orange, greedy stuff, and it'll get anything off your hands.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm trying to remember what the name of it is.
There's a certain special stuff like gone. To remove all of these sticker residue that you have sometimes on things, right? That's really good.
So apparently there's one called Fast Orange.
That sounds
product placement.
That's not the one that I used.
Orange. It sounds. I don't know. It sounds like a
Gojo. It was called Gojo.
Either a chemical weapon or it sounds like a condom brand. No, the Fast Orange. Actually, you want to be the slow orange, but it's okay.
Gojo hand cleaner. And it is insane, the stuff that this will get off. So apparently you can get a 5-pound jug of it for 150 dirhams. So, but that thing was insane. They called it a pumice. So it would literally like just wear this crap off of your hands. So, or you could just use sandpaper.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, just totally.
Just buy a new one for $5
after 1 week.
Yeah. Anyway,
I have a question for you guys. So since both Martin and I, are turning 40 this year, Ralph, did you get an anniversary watch yourself, like a birthday watch for a big kind of milestone?
Yes. Last 2 years ago for my 50th birthday, because I am the senior partner here in this.
I'm much wiser.
I got the rose gold Glassage Original Pano Reserve for my wife as a present.
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking, why 40? Why? I think 50 is a suitable milestone to buy a watch.
40.
40 is
every round. I mean, with 40, I wasn't even a watch collector. 40 years, wasn't even looking at watches, to be honest. I mean, not as in collecting. I did have. What is 40? Let me wait. 40. Yeah, I did have already some kind of luxury watches like a Breitling and a Montblanc, these kind of watches, right? But I wasn't really into deep collecting.
Well, I'm not going to get anything for 40. I always had my mind set to 50. 50 would be the kind of get yourself a nice something gold.
You can do that with every round birthday, right? Why not?
If you have the money.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not. I mean, you can still get yourself a Seiko for your...
Yes, exactly. It doesn't have to be expensive. Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with that. Some of
you can also get like a watch that's as old as you, for example, that was produced back in...
This is, yeah. I think I want a birth year watch as well. I've been wanting one.
Birth year watches that were as old as me. And I sold them both because I eventually realized that having a watch that is as old as me doesn't actually do anything to me. I realized, so what's the point?
It's all personal, I think. I think all of these are just excuses so we can buy more watches, if I'm honest with you.
Yes, I think so. And then I realized that the watches that, especially from my perspective, I still have one that I just recently changed the battery because it's a Seiko from 1972. Yeah. It's a lovely watch. It's a beautiful watch. And it's one of these quartz watches that ticks so precise and hits every single indicator on the watch, right? So that's something that I think Seiko did so well in the high-end quartz watches at the time. it's just very impressive to see that watch, the second-hand ticking, by the way. But other than that, I mean, I had the Omega from 1972, produced in 1972, sold in 1973. But so I didn't have really that strong relationship to the watch. I thought I would have that because it's the same, it's my birth year. But then I realized it doesn't really do it to me. I think there's other watches that are re-editions of maybe a watch that came out in 72 that are a bit more up my alley, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even though they were cool watches at the time, it's just like, I don't know. It's
this is the opportunity for you to buy a Speedmaster, because Speedmasters transcend time, right? So they all look the same, which is super cool, because if you have one of these weird, in the 70s, everything was weird, right? And they were all kind of leaning into the weirdness, the huge tonneau-shaped cases, weird colors, stuff like this. So if you just want a normal watch that happened to be made on your birthday, you find something from then.
Yeah, that is true. I think I'll share my screen. There was Momentum recently had one. 72 Speedmaster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can see this. There you go. That is a Speedmaster from 1972.
And you look at this, and it could be from 2016, and you have no idea.
I think the bracelet, of course, it's a full set with full box, and everything is period correct. So it's nice, but
How much were they asking?
I don't know.
Do you remember?
I don't know. It's unfortunate it's sold, and they don't do the prices. They don't show the old prices on.
Yeah. But, so I found when I was in Zurich last for Basel World in 2019, 2018, whenever I went, I found a little shop, and they had my birth year, not just my birth year and birth month, Speedmaster, purchased at the factory, original papers, and then had just been serviced by the factory as well. And paperwork for everything, right? Full set. And they wanted something like 6,000 euros for it. And I regret strongly, because I don't think I'm going to ever find anything that cool. The fact that it was, a lot of people say, yeah, but was it made in your birth year? Was it made before? Was it made after? Was it sitting in a showroom? And this one, if it was purchased in Biel, whatever you want to call it, at the factory, chances are it just rolled off the production line.
Maybe. You don't know. And this is what I also think, that you have to keep it a bit like, see, for example, the Omega that I bought, my Seamaster there, the old one, that was sold in Burundi, in Africa, in March 1973. So you can probably assume it was produced in 72, right? Especially in the old days where stuff shipped longer and it just wasn't so instant and all of this stuff. So, but do you know? No, you don't know. And if somebody says like, I have in the papers my birthday even, right? So like the exact date, what does it mean? It was sold at a time. It just, you know what I mean? It's just like,
it's just cool.
Yeah, but so I wanted to show you one thing that I find a bit cooler, actually, if I'm honest with myself. This would be this one. This is the Speedmaster Apollo 17, which was in 1972. Right? The Apollo 17 program. So that watch, also it's blue. And I love blue. So it has this little, I don't know, Greek thing there on it here. There's a little statue. I don't know why they have it. I have to read up about it. But Apollo 17 program.
Could it be Apollo?
It could be Apollo.
Just throwing it out there.
It could totally be Apollo, and that they decided for the 17th Apollo mission to put Apollo on it. Yeah.
And in the running seconds, the only thing I see is 17. Yes. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly, because it's Apollo 17. So
Apollo 17. There you go.
Sense,
okay.
Yeah. But
we figured it out.
Maybe, yes. Anyhow, so that watch I thought could be actually nicer because it is a modern watch. It looks cool. I like the design. It's a modern size. And I thought, so that's probably, and you know how many pieces they released?
1972.
Exactly.
Who could have guessed Omega?
But I did say that I sold my Speedmaster, and I've got actually a couple of reasons for it. And I just there's a third reason that Martin just reminded of as well, rubbed me off. So first of all, the sunken crown in the old watches are so annoying to wind, and because it's manual winding as well, every time I try to wind the watch, the skin on my finger would just peel off, and I took it traveling.
I don't know about that.
Mahmoud doesn't have a physical job, right? So he's kind of a paper pusher, clicky on the mouse and typey. So that's why it's just a struggle for him.
It's just too much work. His little fingers, he worked his little fingers to the bone.
I've just got big hands, guys. So when I was traveling as well, so I had to wind it every single day for a
heaven forbid.
And I just wanted to take the watch and just smash it on the shelf. And then the second thing was also what Swatch did with the brand, really. So honestly, I think what they did was a Swatch and Omega collaboration. They cheapened the brand too much for me. That I felt like it doesn't have the same kind of prestige that it used to have before. And then the fact that you can always get a Speedmaster from any year and it will always look almost the same. I just thought I can always buy another one later on. It's just fine.
Yeah, I totally agree with this. And I have struggled with this problem as well myself. Not the moon swatch cheapening. I agree to some extent on that. The crown thing, which one did you have? The new one, the 3861 or the 1861?
The old one.
The 1861.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have no issues. Maybe it's my hand size. I'm able to wind it. I've had it for 10 years, so I'm...
Yeah.
But here's the reason I can't sell mine. I bought it the day after my daughter was born. So my daughter was born at like 11 p.m. on the 24th of December. And on the 25th, Christmas Day, I went into the Rivoli and I bought the watch.
Okay.
So I don't think... I'm ever that's a birth year watch, right? So that even if I wanted to,
is a birth year watch, I mean, it's
even if I wanted to kind of,
it's a memento watch. It's a watch that you have for a specific. You tie it to a specific event in your life,
and that's the only watch I ever did this with. Yeah,
buying a watch to a certain extent on a specific vacation and it reminds you of that. That's also fine, but I can't remember my birth, right? So it's for me, it's like, I do understand this totally for anniversaries, for weddings, for all of these things. I think that's great to buy a watch and have the memory tied to this. I just wanted to say I tried to get here into, just even Speedmasters, because I never had a Speedmaster, right? And I even I've bought this, I don't know if I can actually pull this out here without destroying anything. I got this very close looking watch, which is of course a moon swatch, right? The moon swatch here, and I put this on this wonderful Ali.
Which one is this?
This is the Mission to Mercury, which is dark gray. It's not black, dark gray. And I put this on this beautiful, very subtle rubber strap.
How many of these do you have? I thought you had others.
Yes, I had others. I sold them all with a profit. Okay. Man, I flipped them. I'm like a perfect.
Do you remember TP auctions? Do you remember TP auctions selling them for 8,000 dirhams?
It's ridiculous.
What an absolute tool! Whoever bought that.
The only watch I actually sold and I made money on was the Speedmaster. That's the only watch I sold.
Wow!
And because I bought it for 14K. It was from the airport. I had 20% discount at the time, 5 years ago. And when I sold it now, I sold for 16,500. So
nice.
Yes, almost as much profit as Martin did on his Royal Oak.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. I don't know if I've sold a watch for a considerable. Oh no, I sold my sub. I sold for a considerable profit. So, I sold it for about 10K more than I bought it for.
The reason why I have boxed up my moon swatch, that's why I took it out of the box here, right, is because I'm going to sell it.
Of course you are.
Because I realized,
as you should.
See, I mean, I thought, look, this is the perfect beta watch, right? It's black, it's with a rubber strap. It's super
unfortunately,
cool.
a beater watch needs to be
worn.
It's not sustainable. What's the word I'm looking for? It needs to not break when a light, robust. And this is not a robust
for me,
watch
going out in the woods and chopping wood, what I do, of course, daily in Dubai, is it would be okay. But no, my point is, I didn't even get myself to wear it more than 3 times. And I love wearing a I don't mind wearing cheap watches. I wear my Casio 300 dirham watches. Well, not always. Sometimes you wear your more expensive watches. But again, I'm not wearing my more complicated watches. Chronograph, no date. See, that's very simple.
Only to compensate, I guess, Ralph, right? That's the only reason why you wear your expensive watches.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, I compensate for. I don't know what I'm compensating for. That of course, exactly. Our resident psychologist can explain that to us. The one that is so full of hate can explain.
Yeah, it's surprising. Like, I'm rarely full of love. It's mostly just. I don't. When was the last time you heard me say good things about watches?
Yeah. But I think, Mahmoud, since we have you on the podcast and we are nearly in 1 hour, which watches from these releases, from the 150 releases that we've seen so far, because I have a feeling we will see a few more over the year. What do you think is the one that strikes you the most? Is it the perpetual calendar Royal Oak that with a crown setting with the 4 different crown positions?
Look, I am brutally honest. I know that there will be more watches, and one of them is actually one that I would love to get. And I spoke to the AD that I would love to get it in Q3, Q4. So I know what it's going to be. It's an updated version of one of the current models that they've got at the moment, which something that I already like. But I think from what they released so far, I'm more impressed by the movement rather than the actual dial of the watch. I think the perpetual calendars of both. Have you seen the Code 1159 perpetual calendar?
Yeah.
They released it on this baby
right
blue
there, right there.
Tiffany. Yeah. So it is interesting, but I wouldn't buy it.
Why? Did you see in person?
No, but it's just so much money for the watch. I think it's 100,000 euros.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, so I would rather get myself the Patek chronograph, for example, for 100,000 dirhams less.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think the movement is amazing. If it comes with a more interesting case, which currently I'm kind of also got a bit of Royal Oak fatigue myself. But, or if it comes, for example, with a different dial, maybe that will make a difference. But the anniversary one is actually interesting because it's kind of a reinterpretation of a pocket watch that they released before, exactly the same dial and everything.
Yeah, the skeletonized one, right? Here, this.
It's on the screen. So it's titanium, I think. And I did ask the AD how much is that, and they don't know yet, which means that it can only be like 200,000, 300,000 euros.
Yeah. I think it was on Hodinkee or Monochrome where they had the actual pocket watch where this is modeled after. And this is very funny because the pocket watch is basically like the Royal Oak case without the bracelet. It's also exactly the same, just with a small little hook on the top, so you can actually put it as a pocket watch. It looks really cool. What I also like is that they have done the northern and southern hemisphere, which recently was celebrated so much by Omega, to say like, oh, and our moon phase is now northern and southern hemisphere.
IWC has been doing this for ages.
I know this.
Yeah, but also, what's it called? The Moon Swatch has this. Yes. The Moon Swatch did this.
No, it's not special. It's just like, the cutout is different. You always have 2 moons on the disc, right? You just cut it out in this 8 shape, sort of, and then you have that. I know it's a bit of a. That's why it's my running gag saying, hey, you have a northern and southern hemisphere. Oh my God, it's amazing. Such a earth-shaking technological advancement. No, but I think this is a watch that looks really cool. Still, with especially skeletonized watches, I always have the problem with legibility. And here with also the weekly hand, that also, it can be a bit much, right? But yeah, it's a lovely watch to look at. That's for sure.
I think the best anniversary watch I've seen this year so far is a 222 in steel.
That's a good looking watch.
Yeah, I still haven't actually seen it in person. I should do this. Yeah, maybe this weekend. Go to the boutique and have a look. But I heard from some people who are disappointed when they see it in person. Some people who are extremely excited and thinking that's much nicer than what they thought. It's it seems to be dividing opinions.
The dial is a little bit, I would say, dull. But when I say dull, I don't mean boring. I mean it's been dulled out, I think, on purpose to make it look more flat, which doesn't strike. I think it doesn't appeal to a lot of people, especially people who are used to the overseas and how shiny and colorful the blue overseas is. Yeah, but honestly, I had a renewed appreciation for the gold version when I saw the steel version. They're both good-looking watches, but now I was like, okay, so the gold version actually is quite really, really nice, and they wear really good as well. And
Are they the same size exactly?
They are, and I spoke to Christian as well.
The blue
is bigger.
Yeah.
Really? No, it's the same size, 38 millimeter.
No, I thought one's a 35 or something.
Yeah, the gold is small.
It's 35, and then the new one's 37. I thought.
Then I might be mistaken, but to me they both look the same.
I thought maybe, I don't know.
Let's see. We can. I'm sure we can see a picture where they're both put next to each other. And here we go. Yeah. Let me just share that with you. Not so sure if it is smaller, bigger, but you have been to this 270th celebration at in Abu Dhabi, right?
I have, and I spoke to Christian Silmani as well, and I told him, listen, I hope that this is a platform for more watches for the 222. I'm curious about a two-tone version. I told me that's a brilliant idea, and don't be too surprised if it comes down along the line. And I said, well, if this ever happens, I will never take credit for it.
No, this would be a perfect watch for two-tone because it's that vibe. It's a 70s look. In 70s, two-tone was hot. And especially with these hexagonal kind of links, right? In the middle of the links.
Yeah.
Imagine everything being stainless steel. We already have a gold Maltese cross on the dial, or not on the dial, but on the case. And then make those center links gold, and it would be sick. It would look awesome.
Yeah. So we have to go to history. Let me check. I think you're right. This is 37.
This is 37.
This is 37. They're both the same size. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They are. Okay.
I was under the impression the steel is bigger.
Why did I thought it was smaller?
Yes, I thought the steel was bigger and the gold was smaller, but completely wrong. Same. Okay.
Same, but different.
No, I think these are very good looking watches.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think so too. And I think one of the things is not many people have taken it out the shop, right? I mean, the shops are always lovely lit up and you have the nice lights on it. But I think under sunlight, it can also be quite nice. Remember when we three were actually at the Mandarin Oriental, the Vacheron Constantin suite, the presidential suite that they have rented for showcasing watches and doing customer pampering. And we've been there, the three of us, and we took the new rose gold watches out on the balcony with the green dials.
And it was totally, the colors just changed,
Looked amazing.
Well, I can tell you, there will be more green dials this year in April.
Heaven forbid.
In the normal overseas steel and green, that could be interesting.
I will not say more.
No, you can't say more. But I'm just saying that could be quite interesting. But maybe, I mean, I love the golden version. I mean, this is like a watch when the FU watch, when you have really, for me personally, when I think, when I have that kind of money that I can get a solid gold Vacheron Constantin because they are quite expensive. That would be one. I would even swap my overseas too, my new overseas. Did you know that, Mahmoud, that I got my new overseas? Yeah, right? Did I tell you that?
I only know that you got the dual time.
No, I didn't.
No dual time.
What I did is I was very, very close to actually swap my overseas silver dial, 2022 model, to an AP. So one of our group members, Olivier, had a rose gold AP offshore chronograph with the rubber strap, the rubber clad version.
Yes.
just recently serviced, and he wanted to swap, just a one-to-one swap, right? More or less. We were discussing the details, but
you would have. I think I told him to do it. I think that would have been a cool
it looked
swap.
really cool on my wrist. It was pretty big and chunky, but I thought, I have the wrist for it. It worked, right, to a certain extent. But then eventually I decided, I thought about it a bit too long, and then I was working on some other deal before, and then it came through. So I decided, okay, that's fine. He swapped it or sold it to somebody else. And he also sold his Ingenieur for 25K that I actually wanted to buy. And so I lost.
Oh no, which dial?
Black.
Yeah. Okay. It's already tanking. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're tanking 25. Left and right. 25 is going right now.
And so that's
I've seen the green one for 25.
And that's where I said, if it reaches 25, I'm going to buy one, right? Because that's, I think, the fair value for this watch for me personally.
Yeah.
Again, that's subjective, but that's for me. And I think I'm still in the market for one. When I come across one, I think I might do that. But anyhow, so I then got a new deal getting the boutique version of the blue dial overseas 2025, just 2 weeks old.
Yeah.
And then I swapped my silver overseas, put a bit of money on top, and basically I got that. So I sold my overseas, put a bit of money on top, and got a brand new overseas blue dial with the new version, so the 4520, not the 4500, with the new slimmer bracelet and all of the stuff. And it's lovely. I love that watch. So,
first of all, congratulations. But also, this is another reason why we need to catch up more often.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. And on that bombshell,
this coming week, in the evenings I'm available.
Good.
Yeah. So during the week, if you want to catch up for just a quick drink somewhere, it doesn't have to be
just
long.
Come to Elaine, guys. We can have a drink in Elaine.
Yeah. Then it's not so quick for us to drive for 3 hours back and forth.
Yeah, that's fine.
But then we had a meeting in the car during this time.
Yes.
Mahmoud, we can consider that. Yeah. We meet you for 15 minutes and then we
sure. 3 hours meeting in the car. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, as we said on that bombshell, thank you for joining us, Mahmoud. Again, always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marshall.
You definitely bring a different perspective to us. Mm-hmm. You're much more positive than we are, I feel.
I am positive. I'm always positive. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're a positive core clad in a negative German exterior. No one has ever said that's a nice German guy. Like he's so sweet. No, it's just the Germans have this way of being very clinical, very
I think you're stereotyping me a bit too much here. So
I stereotype everyone.
Yeah.
That's what stereotypes are for.
Oh my God.
So we're ending on this lovely abrasive Martin.
Abrasive. No, I'm not a hand cleaner. Come on.
No, you're the sponge they use to clean stuff in the sink, That scrubbing sponge.
So what does that have to do? I'm abrasive. not the blue colored one that's made for like the gentle.
Oh, you can work on this.
The non-scratch one.
Once you turn 40, you mellow. Take it from me. Take it from me. You're getting a bit more mellow.
So we'll do a podcast the day before and the day after. We see how mellow I get.
Day and night difference.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mahmoud.
Thank you, Martin.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ralph.